be interesting. So, common man, he just comes because of these material needs that he has some material need, therefore he turns to God, worships the spiritual master, he worships the sadhu, associate, because he wants some material benediction. So obviously devotees are not common men. Right? Devotees are not common because they come to Krishna consciousness. They don't want anything. And this is being described here. The Pracetās are like that. They're not interested in any kind of material benefit. Of course, they can afford to be that way. They just spent 1,000 years managing a kingdom, right? So they pretty much had every kind of material enjoyment you can think about. Right? So they didn't have a whole lot left on their bucket list. Their list was pretty much covered. They've been everywhere, seen everything, done everything, tasted everything, heard everything, and now renouncing. That's easier for someone. But Srila Prabhupada was always impressed when people would come. Prabhupada always wanted to show his disciples, see, these disciples. They have come from hippie to happy. I have turned them from hippie to happy. Prabhupada was always pushing them in the front. See, before, intoxicated, drug addict, intoxicated, hopeless, life was ruined. Now they have become first class Vaishnavas. So not only Pracetās who have burned out on sense enjoyment, you can say, but anyone who comes to Krishna consciousness can become free of material desires. So the Pracetās, they did not want fulfillment even of their material desires. They simply wanted to go back to Godhead, that's all. They simply had an idea and a desire to simply cross the ocean of material nescience. So this is the problem. People approach a saintly person, though he can give them so much more, and then they ask for some minuscule material benefit. And this is the famous story of Dhruva Maharaj, because he had such a material desire. Right? His great-grandfather was Lord Brahma. His grandfather was Swayambhuva Manu. And his great-grandfather is Lord Brahma. And he wanted a kingdom bigger than his great-grandfather. That's how big his desire was. Okay, I will worship Krishna for a kingdom bigger than Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, his kingdom is the universe. the whole universe. And Dhruva Maharaj, I want bigger than that. Wow, who can even conceive of such a huge kingdom? Just because of his anger toward his father, towards his stepmother. He didn't have a small material desire, and a very huge material desire. Prabhupada says, still that's better. Still that's better. Better than worshipping the demigods. That's what people do. They turn to the demigods, they worship the demigods because they're easy to satisfy. And the demigods award material benedictions easily. Lord Brahma gave to Hiranyakashipu easily. Right? The demigods, they very easily, Lord Shiva very easily gives material benefit, material desire. So people worship the demigods, thinking the demigod will help me. I'll worship Kuvera, I'll get wealth, I'll worship Sarasvati, I'll become very intelligent. Right? They think like that. Of course, Krishna says in the Gita, the demigods have no power to give any benediction. Ultimately, that comes from Krishna also. Krishna says, they worship me, but in a wrong way. They think the demigod is giving some benediction, but the benediction is ultimately offered by Krishna himself, not by the demigod. Just like Hiranyakashipu is telling Lord Brahma, make me eternal. I want to be eternal. And Lord Brahma said, I'm not eternal myself. How can I give you? Not possible. Right? Same thing. So Dhruva Maharaj wanted this huge kingdom. Prabhupada says, it's better that he worship Krishna to fulfill his material desire, but worship Krishna. Prabhupada said, even that's better. Yesterday I went out the gate, driving the car, and out the front, right out the front, there's a man with his motorbike, and he's standing next to the motorbike, and he's looking at the temple with his shoes on and the whole thing. And my first thought was, what is he doing? What kind of devotion is that? And then I thought, well, at least it's something. It's better than not respecting the Lord at all. At least when he drives past in the morning, he stop his bike, get off, Radhe Radhe, something, and then drive on. So that's good. I don't know if it's enough to get Krishna's attention, right? We're trying, the path of bhakti means to catch the attention of the Lord, to get the attention of the spiritual master, to get some mercy. So I don't know if you're standing out the front by the motorbike with your shoes on, giving pranam. I don't really know if you'll catch Krishna's attention. Or even if you do, what he will think. Whether you will catch his attention in a right way or a wrong way. Maybe Lord will think, oh, this guy, still there. I don't know whether he will think, oh, so great. I don't know how impressed he will be. Not sure. Maybe Krishna's quite transcendental. He sees only the good because he gave his attention to Putana and she tried to kill him. But she caught his attention, that's for sure. And he gave her liberation. In fact, she went to Goloka, not even to the Brahman, because she came in the mood of a mother, offering everything, offering her milk. And the Lord took that goodness of devotion and didn't think, oh, but she's trying to kill me. He didn't think like that. He just accepted the devotion. So I don't know. Anyway, this man comes every day. I don't know what to say to him. It's the same thing. Prabhupada said, why waste your time with the demigods for some stupid material benefit, which is also temporary, right? Krishna criticizes in the Gita, explains 7th chapter, 9th chapter, 10th chapter. No need to waste time, worship the demigods. Even if you have material desire, like Dhruva Maharaj, just worship Krishna. Just worship Krishna. And then we see the story of the Leela as it goes on. When Dhruva Maharaj realized, right? When he actually realized and met Lord Vishnu, then he understood, oh, big mistake, big mistake. And then those material desires were gone. They disappeared. And he began in his platform of bhakti. Same thing with the Pracetās. When they met Lord Vishnu, then they understood clearly. Even though they again engaged for 1,000 years. Same with Dhruva. After meeting the Lord, then again he became the emperor, right? Became angry and went to war with the Yakshas and began killing them all because they killed his brother. I mean, it was not very transcendental. So there's a process. But the idea of becoming free from material desire, how do you become free from material desire? Right? That's the question. And Prabhupada says you cannot. Actually, you cannot. You can't give up material desires. It doesn't work. Right? That's not the process, giving up. That's the process of Ashtanga Yoga, to give up. Right? Sit down, yama, niyama, pranayama, pratyahara, pranayama, asana, pratyahara. It's a process to give up material activity, to give up material desire. Doesn't really work. Not in this day and age. Maybe in previous ages it worked, but not this age. So the process of bhakti is not to give up material desire. It's a positive process. Just become busy. Become absorbed and become busy in something else. And when you become busy in that something else, which is bhakti, then the material desires disappear. So Prabhupada says, spiritualize. Spiritualize your desire. That is Krishna consciousness. Somehow or other, to spiritualize our life and our consciousness. And this is what the Pracetās are praying for. They are praying to Nārada Muni, give us some knowledge. Give us some knowledge that we can cross the ocean of nescience. Give us some knowledge where we can spiritualize ourself, our consciousness. And they're asking, please give us bhakti. In every lila in the Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, whoever it may be, any of the famous kings, it always comes down to that. My dear Lord, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, I just want your service life after life. I don't want anything else. I don't want a kingdom. I don't want what Chaitanya says. I don't want lots of followers. I don't want a beautiful wife. I don't want anything. I just want your service life after life. So that's the platform that bhakti brings us to. So the idea is just to be engaged in Krishna consciousness, engaged in activities for the pleasure of Krishna. And by being absorbed, then the material desires disappear on their own. We don't have to try to give them up. We just become busy with something better. So this is, for every devotee, important. Everybody should have a target. We should all have a target. You know, we read the Bhagavad Gita and we got some idea, some notion, we became convinced, and we had some target. Okay, I'll try it. I will try this. Our target was very simple, right? This is where we set some level. I want to become a devotee. I want to be a devotee. I want to become a devotee. That was our target. So then, as we progress in Krishna consciousness, that target increases. I want to chant 16 rounds. I want to chant 16 rounds every day. Spiritual Master has ordered 16 rounds. I want to come to that level. That's my target. And then someone who's reached 16 rounds, and it's not that now I reached my target, it's all over. Then the target should increase. Now I'm doing 16 rounds. Now I want to do quality. I want to do good 16 rounds. My target is to do good 16 rounds. Like that. So we should always be increasing. If you don't have an increasing your target, then you're going backwards. Because Krishna is always expanding. So he's always increasing. So if you're not increasing, you're just staying still, and he's increasing, you're actually, Prabhupada said, you're actually going backwards. So like that, devotees they should be continually setting targets, no matter what your connection is, what is your relationship, whatever your service, you can set targets. So a person who's dreaming about chanting 16 rounds, it's a very high target for him. But a person who has reached that and fixed his mind and has that determination every day, he's taken a vow to the spiritual master every day. For him, it's not a target anymore. It's just regular. It's automatic. It's regular. Part of life. It's part of who he is. He chants 16 rounds every day. There's no more mental platform. Yes, no, today, maybe not tomorrow. It's too hot, it's too cold. There's no more mental platform. He's fixed. That's my target. He's already reached it. So then he sets something higher. So all of us, we should be doing like that in our devotional life. The book distributor, his target is 10 Bhagavad Gitas every day, right? Start off, many devotees start off, oh, Bhagavad Gita is a very big book. I will take small books, magazines and small books. And my target is 20 magazines and 10 small books. And he works for that. And then sooner or later he becomes fixed on that. Then magazine is not difficult anymore. Small books not difficult. Oh, I will do Bhagavad Gita, 10 Bhagavad Gita every day. I become determined, fixed. Fixes that kind of a target. Doesn't reach, doesn't reach, doesn't reach. Krishna testing. But sooner or later he starts to reach the target. Then he increases. Devotees were always exasperated, means they were always frustrated. They would come to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Today we all did 100 Gitas. And Prabhupada said, very good. Tomorrow 200. They go, oh, Prabhupada, 200 is not possible. Do it. That's the new target. Prabhupada, oh my goodness. And then they would struggle, and they would come back a week later. Prabhupada, we did 200. Prabhupada, oh, very good. Tomorrow 400. Oh no, but impossible. Prabhupada, impossible is word only for fools. There's a fool's dictionary. There's no such word as impossible. Living entity can do anything. Right? They're printing 4 of the first 6 books of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada, see, we have completed. Prabhupada, how long? It took only 6 months. Prabhupada said, very good. Next 6 in 3 months. Oh no, Prabhupada, not possible. Just kept setting higher and higher targets, because if you keep setting a higher target and keep yourself under pressure, then you forget about material desires. You're too fixed, you're too focused, you're too busy to think about material desire. So devotees, everybody in this room should be setting some targets. Understand where I am today and what is my target. What is my target? Do I have a target for expanding Krishna consciousness? Do I have any new idea of how to preach? Some new idea, a new platform, how to spread Krishna consciousness? Do I have any personal new targets? Who here has a book they want to read that they haven't read? Mukundamala Stotra, something, Brihat Bhagavatam Rita, right? I have a target. I have a few books I have not read and I want to read because I'm lazy and haven't read them yet. But they're on, at least I have a target that I want to read. Brihat Bhagavatam Rita, very big. 2 very big books. But such a transcendental lila, that pastime is so attractive. The presentation of Krishna consciousness is so attractive. I feel, oh no, I won't feel successful until I've read those books. You should have some target like that. There should be something, some achievement you're looking for. Somebody say, oh, my target is to visit every ISKCON temple in the world. Okay, that's a target, but that's kind of not a real target. That's just some sort of enjoyment as well. It should be realistic. Discuss with senior devotees, with the spiritual master. Is this a good target? Travel around the world. Temple should give me ticket. I'll travel around the world and visit every temple. And photograph every deity. Oh, okay. Devotional service. Whatever, should be. Right? We should all have some targets. Sometimes you see, especially fundraising, devotees who do fundraising and book distribution, they experience this. They experience it. You have a target, you think what is your ability, you set a target, but then you're able to do it. It's not difficult anymore. And then you increase the target, and you increase the target, and you see Krishna response. And devotees perform unbelievable service. Right? Some devotees distribute unbelievable amounts of books in one moment. And even they can't understand how they do it. I remember Jyoti Maheshwari one time. He went to Calcutta and he had a target of, he thought he'll go and collect 20 lakhs for the temple construction. And he went for 3 weeks and he came back with 80 lakhs. 80 lakhs. And he was also, my target was 20, collected 80. Next time I go, I'll collect a crore. He had this target, and easily, even if you talk to him, even he says, oh, it's amazing. People say, oh, you collected so much fun. He says, yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how. You can experience, if you have targets, you can experience Krishna. And that is devotional service. Just increasing the next level, And targets. My target is to control my mind, to control my senses. But then you get to a point where they are controlled. Right? They're automatically controlled. It's not the target anymore. The target is something higher. And then you reach that level, and the target becomes something higher. And then you reach another level. And then again, you set another higher target. Ultimately, the target is Krishna Prem. But we don't have that. We're not trying to reach Krishna Prem because we feel right now, we think, oh, it's too far away. It's not possible. I don't even understand what is Krishna Prem. Right? But that is the ultimate target, is to reach the platform of Krishna Prem. That's what we are. And so we keep progressing. But if you don't set a higher target, then you won't reach there. You have to keep on adding more, making it harder, working harder. And then one day you reach that platform of Krishna Prem. And Srila Prabhupada says, it's a gradual process and evolves. Right? You start controlling your mind, you're controlling your senses, you start setting higher goals. And then at one point, the process of Krishna consciousness becomes automatic, which is called Raganuga Bhakti. Automatic, spontaneous, automatic devotional service. You're not thinking in your mind, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do? You've passed that stage. There's no more thinking, should I chant or not? Should I take prasadam or not? Should I come to the program or not? Right? The devotee goes past that platform. There's no question anymore. It's spontaneous. That's called Raganuga Bhakti. Spontaneous, automatic devotional service. Right now we are following the process of Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulations. But our process is not Vaidhi. Our process is Raganuga. Because Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulations, you will remain in the relationship of the Lord in Aishvarya Ras. You will always be the servant. God will always be the master, and God, that relationship will stay. So someone who follows the practice of Vaidhi sadhana, he can maximum reach the Dham, Ayodhya Dham, or Dwarka Dham. He can maximum reach Ayodhya or Dwarka. Krishna in Dwarka, Ram in Ayodhya. Always respectful in that mood. But devotees who follow the practice of Raganuga Bhakti, though we do rules and regulations just to control our senses and mind, but his platform is spontaneous loving attraction for the Lord. So he can enter Goloka because there's that mood is there where the Lord is, you can say, not respected. Right? Due to the Yoga Maya, the relationship becomes something much more transcendental. So that's the whole idea. But if we want to reach that platform of Krishna Prem and entering the spiritual world, the Loka Vrindavan, then we have to continually setting higher goals, setting higher targets for ourselves. Sometimes we don't do that, right? Because we have this weakness in the heart. Sri Dayagantis, Bhaktivinoda talks about it, Thakur talks about it, this weakness of heart. Lazy, we're basically lazy in devotional service, and we have this weakness in our heart. And so we just reach a certain level and we think good enough, right? But this verse is also explaining, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also explains, not good enough. Next target, next higher target. Always keep yourself under pressure. Don't become comfortable in spiritual life. Should always keep ourselves under pressure. My target is to start giving Bhagavad Gita class, then my target is to start giving Srimad Bhagavatam class, right? Everybody should be thinking, right? Lord Chaitanya said everybody born in India should become a guru, at least Siksha guru. It means they should spread and teach and preach Krishna consciousness. Everybody should have that target. No? So don't become complacent. Oh no, this is my service. That's it. Nothing else. 9 to 5. 9 to 5. It's not a job. Don't treat it like a job. Yes, this is my service. How can I make it better? How can I do more? How can I increase the quality? Just now, GBC has a new thing. By 2022, every temple in the world should have a plan only, how to give the deities a hints of dairy products. Whatever, that's what they came up with. I don't think that's the most important thing the world needs. But anyway, that's what the GBC came up with. And certainly it's an important thing. Right now, we get milk from our cows, we get milk from other cows, and we don't know what's going on with those cows. And this society, all cows are getting slaughtered, right? Very hard to find cows that are not being slaughtered. As long as they're milking, they live. And as soon as they stop milking, they're slaughtered. And the bulls, they have no chance. In this society, there is no chance. In the West, they don't let the bull, he's not older than 3 weeks. That's it, and they're gone. 3 weeks they get to live, and then they're gone. This is a cow slaughter society, the whole world. And so we want to offer the highest quality to the deities, the highest quality. So the idea is to produce or locate a hints of milk, and then make all our own dairy products. Make our own ghee, make our own paneer, make our own butter, make our own ghee, offer the ghee lamp with ahimsa. So it's a nice idea, nice thing. Right? It's a nice target. In India, we can do it. I don't know how they're going to do it in the West. I have no idea how they expect to find somewhere where somebody is having ahimsa built. But in India, especially Rajasthan, we can find goshalas that they're better than us. There's goshalas that are higher standard than we have. We can find ahimsa milk. Anyway, so like that, GBC is setting some target. So that's what we have this. We are thinking now. This is challenge. They are challenging us. But we should also challenge ourselves. Don't wait for someone, the GBC, to challenge us. We should also challenge ourselves. Rajasthan, we have 33 districts. Right now we have a center of some preaching activity in 15. So we got 18 left. Right? So we're discussing in our Rajasthan forum that we should have all 33. How can we do? What should we do? Jodhpur, where can they start? Jaipur, where can we start? Udaipur, where can they start? Big cities like Sirohi, big city, we don't have any activity, right? So make a plan how to expand. We should always be challenging ourselves, challenging each other, how to increase. And then when we do that, we have higher targets and we focus on that, we concentrate on that target, then you become Krishna conscious. You're too busy to think about Maya. Too busy to think about Maya. I remember in Australia one time we had a marathon. I forget, we were selling something, probably paintings. And there was a devotee in Sydney, one devotee in Melbourne, and there was two of us. We were in Adelaide. It was like a competition, the Prabhupada Marathon. And all this money, we were collecting this money, it went to Mayapur. That money practically built Mayapur, the Lotus building, the Long building, the Conch building, was all from that money from Australia, from the Yatra. Millions of dollars in 1 month. We would collect millions of dollars. It was amazing. And this devotee, Pancaratna, and I, we were traveling partners, and we were completely opposite to each other, so we didn't get on at all. We had nothing in common, except we are devotees. Otherwise, on a material platform, zero. Zero. So it was good for us. He didn't want to spend time with me, and I didn't want to spend time with him. So we just spend time on Sankirtan. We just go out at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'd come back at 9 o'clock at night. That was good enough. So we were doing like that. We were challenging each other. Well, today I'll do $500. And then he started collecting $500. And then I thought, oh, I'll do more. So then I also started collecting more. And in that marathon, it got to a point where $1,000 a day, it wasn't even, will I do or will I not do? The question was then, how much more than $1,000 will we do? And both of us, every single day, for more than a month, we were collecting over $1,000 a day. Some days, $4,000, $3,000. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Those days, most devotees were collecting $200, $300 in a day. And then these two, who were heavy competition between each other, we were doing that. And we'd go down to the beach. There was so many things going on. We were just focused all day, having shloka cards on the steering wheel of the car. We were driving around big farms in Australia, had the shloka cards and learning shlokas all day, get up real early, chant our rounds at the beach, chant our rounds thinking about where I'm going to go, where we had a map, where I'm going to go, I'm going to collect, I'm going to do, just focusing, nothing else. There was no temple service. There was nothing else to do. Just have prasadam and chant our rounds, have prasadam and go out whole day, focusing. And it was amazing, actually. Amazing experience, something that you can remember. It gives you a lot of strength when you have that experience. Just focused on higher and higher and higher targets. And devotees were doing that. And Krishna was in Sydney, and you'd get a score in Krishna. Today, he did $6,000 in a day, selling candles in Sydney. How can you sell candles and collect $6,000 in a day? I was like, how is it possible? Right? Even he was like, how is it possible? Devotees, you have to do that. If you spend your time challenging yourself and setting higher targets in whatever service you're doing, even if it's cooking for the deities, some higher level, better quality, something more variety, more item, something interesting. If you get into that frame of mind and consciousness, focus on it, then material desires disappear. That's bhakti. That's bhakti yoga according to your nature. Look at Arjuna. He's on the battlefield. He cannot defeat all those kings. He cannot defeat grandfather Bhishma Dev. Even Karna, so powerful, he cannot defeat them. But he was there, and he was, that was his target. And he was declaring, tomorrow I will kill Jayadratha. Nobody will stop me. Right? That's his target for the day. And they knew it. So they surrounded him. They put Jayadratha at the very back of the army. And they surrounded him with Maharatis. Because if Arjuna fails, then he's finished. Right? He's out of the battle. But Arjuna was so focused, so focused on this, intense. What kind of meditation? Did he sleep that night? Right? It's like that, right? Devotees get so fixed. Sometimes you see like that. Devotees, especially book distributors, they dream about book distribution. Right? Have you had a dream about selling books? Right? Experience that. We're in Adelaide. Go out in the malls, down the market every day, selling books, meeting all kinds of unusual people. And who you think might take a book, seems religious, turned out to be a demon. And who looked like a demon, took a whole Bhagavatam set. Right? It's like that sometimes. And sometimes we go traveling into Western Australia, have a whole big truckload of books, and just selling books, nothing else. Just selling books every single day, nothing else to do. No one to talk to, no Mangalati in the temple. We would have a small Mangalati, but nothing else to do except sell books. And it got to a point, there's so much competition, so much focus, and you're having dream about selling books. Oh, I dreamt I sold 2 Bhagavatam sets last night. It's like that. Devotees are dreaming about it. You read about that. You have to experience, you have to become focused. Especially brahmachari has so much opportunity. Grihastha has so much distraction. Brahmachari don't have that distraction. Can just really focus on the service, and fully commit. You do that, and then no more material desire. It's gone, disappeared. So this is our philosophy. Prabhupada is saying, the Pracetas are requesting Nārada, give us some enlightenment, give us some knowledge, help us understand how to become to that platform of pure devotion, fully focused, spontaneous devotional service, raga nuga bhakti, so that we may also attain Krishna prema. This is what they're requesting. So any question or any comments? Yes, sir.
Was meditating on Lord, Vishnu, was sacrificing for Lord only. But his desire was about Purushi. So how did Krishna help him to mitigate that material desire? In case of Kumar, obviously Krishna mitigated the material desire in Kumar.
He's asking about King Purava, who's worshipping Vishnu, but still he maintained his material desire. Whereas Dhruva Maharaj was worshipping Vishnu and ultimately became free from material desire. It depends on the focus. If it's with Dhruva, especially because he was so young, it was pure, right? He had his desire, but he focused on Krishna and Vishnu only. And sometimes we take up the path of bhakti, but it's mixed. So we see people who, they are Krishna bhakt, but they still have some soft corner for the demigods. Like that. Sometimes they're Krishna bhakt, but they still do some karma kanda and, Lord Ganesh puja. Their bhakti is mixed with some karma, some material desires, mixed with some jnana, kama mishra bhakti, jnana mishra bhakti. The platform is not pure raganuga. So Dhruva was different, little exceptional. Dhruva didn't have any mixture. He was just focusing for material desire, but focusing only on Vishnu, no one else. He wasn't hoping to get any benefit from anyone else. So because it was not mixed up, then the Lord appeared before him. So sometime we find out, you'd have to read up nicely that Leela of King Purva, whether he had some mixtures in his devotion. We have one member here, we went to his house for a program. I mentioned once before, but, he had all the altar was there. And then he had Radha and Krishna, Sita, Ram, and then he had Lord Ganesh and Lord Shiva and Lakshmi Devi and Saraswati. And, he had Lord Nrsimhadev, he had them all, and he had Jesus Christ and Mother Mary. So I asked him, oh, you're such a nice Hindu. You have all the gods. Oh, yes, yes. I said, why Jesus and Mother Mary? He said, just in case. Just in case all the Hindu gods don't work, I got the Christian God also. Anyway, nice devotee. A little bit mixed. So when you have that much mixture in your focus, it's not likely you'll have much success in this life. So like that. Maybe there must have been some mixture.
For associating with Purushi, I have read in 9th Nārada was glorified in Purava in Swarabhu. That is a pure devotee. So we should get attracted with Purava.
I'd have to have a close look at the purports. Srila Prabhupada was asked one time, Prabhupada, how many pure devotees in ISKCON? And Prabhupada said to his disciple, how many disciples do I have? He said, Prabhupada, you have 10,000. Prabhupada said, we have 10,000 pure devotees in ISKCON. Everybody went, what? What does that mean? Prabhupada said it. Maybe not yet, but they're on that path. So they're on that platform of pure devotion. So Prabhupada understood. They're already pure devotee. They're on the plane to Mumbai. If you ask, Prabhupada said, someone's going to Mumbai and he's at the airport, but if anybody asks you, oh, where is he? You'll say, oh, he's in Mumbai. He hasn't reached yet. He's only at the airport. Hasn't even got on the plane yet. But he's got the ticket. He's got everything needed. So we consider he's already in Mumbai. He's gone to Mumbai. Right? So Prabhupada says the same thing. Haven't actually reached Goloka yet. But we got the ticket. We're even on the plane. So if anybody asks, Prabhupada say, oh, pure devotee. So King Bhurva, I don't know. I have to read those purports in detail and see. Nice that you're reading. Nice that you're thinking. That's a good thing. Sorry, Khan. Yes, bro.
You mentioned early on